Welcome to Echoes of Faith, where stories of hope, grace, and redemption come to life. Each story is a journey of faith, a testament to the power of God's love, and a reminder that no one is ever too far from His grace. In the quiet hours of morning, when the world is still asleep, one woman begins her day with a simple prayer and a well-worn apron. Apron Strings is a tender story of quiet faith, generational blessing, and the sacred power found in the unseen moments of love. Let this story speak gently to your heart. The house always seemed most sacred in the moments right before dawn, not when the hymns played on Sunday mornings, not even when heads bowed at dinner. No, the holiest hour, at least to Miriam Chambers, came in the hush before sunrise, when the windows still held the last of the night and the wood floors cooled her feet. She moved by memory in the kitchen, careful not to wake anyone. Coffee perking, biscuits waiting. But before a pan touched the stove, before the eggs cracked or the dog stirred from his curled nap in the corner, she did one small, sacred thing. She fastened her apron. Loop on the left, knot on the right, pull twice. Quietly and gently, Miriam shut her eyes, clutching the apron strings in her aged hands. "Dear Lord," she would whisper, her voice just above the ticking of the kitchen clock. "Watch over them today. Keep their hearts tender. Grant them a joy that endures beyond lunchtime." The prayer was unceremonious, unnoticed by anyone. The three children were either fast asleep or racing down the stairs, running late for school. Her husband, Ben, sat absorbed in the morning paper, glasses fogged and coffee growing cold. Even the dog seldom bothered to lift his head. But heaven noticed. It began with one small plea. Years ago, when her youngest wept on the first day of kindergarten, Miriam had stood at the counter, apron in hand, hands trembling. And from the ache of helpless love, the words had spilled out, "Cover him, Lord, please." She said it again the next morning, and the morning after that, and the one after that. Over time, it became something more than a habit. It was a daily liturgy, a quiet ritual stitched into the fabric of her life. Tie the apron, whisper the prayer, place the biscuits in the oven. She never told anyone, not because she meant to keep it secret, but because some holy things don't need witnesses. They just wait patiently to take root. Years passed the way years always do, in a rush and then a blur. The children grew. School papers gave way to college applications. Her eldest, Caroline, was the first to leave, chasing a teaching job a few towns over. The sons followed, one to the city, one to the coast. Even the family dog slipped away in his sleep on a rainy morning. Ben remained at the table, the same newspaper in hand, the same fogged-up glasses. But the house had grown quiet. Miriam didn't mind. Quiet left space for memory and prayer. Each morning, she still tied her apron. Loop on the left, knot on the right, pull twice. Watch over them today, she prayed, her hands slower now, but no less sure. Wherever they may be, whoever they are becoming, you know what they need. She kept going, even when her health made mornings harder, even when arthritis stiffened her fingers, even when biscuits gave way to toast because the oven had grown too heavy a task. The apron stayed on its hook by the back door, waiting like a loyal companion. Time passed gently. Then one morning, as the light crept across the windowsill, Miriam's breath simply stilled. No fanfare, no final words, just a faithful servant returning home while the world still slept. Weeks later, Caroline stood in her own kitchen, brushing flour from her hands onto the towel slung over her shoulder. The room smelled of celebration, sugar and cinnamon, vanilla and butter. In the next room, half-deflated balloons hovered over a mess of wrapping paper and ribbon. Her youngest daughter, Sydney, was serenading the dog with a lopsided version of Happy Birthday while she waited for the icing bowl. It was Sydney's 8th birthday. A cake waited to be frosted. A table waited to be decorated. Caroline reached for her mother's old apron, which now hung from a small hook by her pantry door. She hadn't worn it much, until now. She held it for a moment, pressing the soft cotton to her cheek. Rough in places, faintly scented with rosemary and something older. Memory, maybe. "It's mine now," she murmured with a small smile. "Thanks, Mom." Her fingers moved without thinking. Loop on the left, knot on the right. Pull twice. Then, just like that, her eyes closed, and the whisper came, uninvited but familiar, like a lullaby she hadn't realized she'd remembered. "Lord, cover them today, keep their hearts soft, give them joy that lasts past the birthday party." The words surprised her, and yet felt so natural. As she tied the last tug, Caroline felt something stir within her, a gentle warmth, a sense of purpose, like she wasn't standing alone, like the knot itself carried memory, presence, blessing. Her eyes fluttered open. The mixer hummed. Sydney squealed with delight. The golden retriever whined for icing, but the air felt changed, softer, held. She touched the knot at her waist and smiled. That's how it starts again. Not with trumpets, not with sermons, not with applause, but with a woman in a kitchen holding an apron string in her hand. Because faith doesn't always echo in words. Sometimes it echoes in habits, in hands, in moments no one sees. And in one small act, passed quietly through generations, God is called upon again, and again He listens. May we never underestimate the prayers whispered in kitchens, the love sown into ordinary days, or the legacy of quiet faith passed through the hands of those who came before us. And when you tie your own apron or offer a helping hand, may you remember that God still listens. Let the story live on in you.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. Remember, no matter what fires we face, faith will always carry us through. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to leave a comment. Subscribe for more stories that inspire and uplift. This is Echoes of Faith, where every story brings hope. If today's story moved you, be sure to discover more heartfelt journeys in the Echoes of Faith series and uplift your spirit. Don't miss out on the next chapter. There's always more to uncover.